Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having a fantastic week so far. I hope that you're feeling well and learning lots. Students, in this class, we are looking at IELTS Speaking Part 2. And this cue card will focus on places to meet people. This is a members chat class. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. We will have an all chat class coming up in about 2 hours, and that class will be 90 minutes long. It will be speaking part 3. This class is 90 minutes long. It's speaking part 2. So it's a good idea to attend this class even if you are not a member, because IELTS speaking part 2 is the foundation for speaking part 3. Speaking part 3 are questions related to speaking part 2. So it's a very good idea if you're here to stay here to watch the class so that you can do even better in speaking part 3. Fennel, welcome to the class. I see that you said you just came from the exam center. I hope that your exam went well. Maybe we'll have a chance to chat about it a little bit and give all of our viewers a bit of insight in what the exam was like today. Welcome, Raquia. Good to see our members joining in. Students, this class is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. Both of those websites serve as the materials for our live classes. They are like the textbooks. By having access to these websites, you will be learning much more efficiently. So if you like to watch these live classes, I highly recommend joining our websites. We will use them today. This is our academic IELTS website here. Click that big red button that's just above my head there to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. And today, as I said, we will use this to actually speak with people. In this class, we'll speak to members and volunteers, and in the next class, we'll speak with our viewers and students. We are an IDP affiliate. We're an official British Council partner, and we are an IELTS test registration center as well. I'm a certified British Council agent. We have been teaching IELTS specifically for 20 years. All right. Students, when you're on the website and you click that Join Now button, we've got a new discount code for you today. So click the Use Coupon Code, enter History 99, and then click Continue to get a 10% discount off the premium IELTS package. This is from a new video that we just released half an hour ago onto our YouTube channel. It's a speaking practice video, first-person karaoke style. I will put the video link into the chat. There you go. So when you have a moment, you can check that out. It's great for practicing your English, building your fluency vocabulary, and I'm sure that when you take a look at that, you'll be like, oh yeah, that was really useful. All right, so students, again, check out the websites, use the discount code, also get our apps. We're doing lots of updates to our apps right now. Academic IELTS help from your app store, general IELTS help from your app store. They link to the websites under more. Instagram is IELTS_AEhelp and GIELTS help. GIELTS help is for general, IELTS_AEhelp is for academic. And of course, you can send me an email, send our staff an email if you have some questions. Adrian@aehelp.com, that's my email, and then admin@aehelp.com, that's the company email. So we like questions, we like to help you. Whether it's about IELTS, English, immigration, university application, let us know. We're here to help. And we've got lots of classes coming up for you. We have our schedule for next week. Again, you can also see this on Instagram and the YouTube channel in the posts. So definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification button so you know the time of these classes. We have speaking part 2 right now, speaking part 3 after, and then we have no class Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then more classes starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All right. So we'll get going on our IELTS Speaking Part 2 cue card, which is on this topic. Talk about where it is good to meet new people. Okay. Hi Fuang, hi Chen, hi Chayani. I see many more members in the class now. That is lovely. Fennel is just coming from the exam center. Fennel says, yes, it was fantastic. Fennel literally just wrote the IELTS exam and sharing a bit of experience. So I'm going to actually put that up there. I'm sure some of you might be curious. It's hot off the press. All right, so Fennel, let's share the news with everybody. Thank you, by the way, Fennel, for coming back and sharing your experience. So hot off the press, it means fresh news about IELTS from our student Fennel. Thank you, Fennel. So Fennel says, let's make it a bit bigger, Fennel. Fresh news. Fennel says, yes, it was fantastic. Specifically listening, I'm sure I got 32 plus correct. However, reading was tough. I wasn't able to finish all the answers. I guessed the last 3 answers of passage 3, I'm guessing. That's not bad. 3 questions out of 40, you're guessing. You almost got there, Fennel. So 37 from 40, that's not bad. All right. Good. Fennel says writing task 1 was about water purifier process through solar energy. So it was a diagram that you had, right? Let's see. Water purifier process through solar energy. Sounds interesting. Sounds like you had some good vocabulary for it, Fennel, which is good. All right, and then your part 2 question task 2 question. Just out of curiosity, Fennel, do you remember what your part 2 question was for the speaking? Or have you done the speaking? Maybe you haven't yet. So Fennel says, university fees must be same for all, as in future it benefits individuals more than society. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, that would be an interesting task too. Maybe we'll do that in one of our classes next week. I don't think we have writing next week, but the week after we can. So an interesting question. Okay, Fennel, thank you. He says, I followed your videos for a long time, so it was obvious that I had to come here and share. Well, thank you, Fennel. Thank you for sharing that. If you can let me know what speaking part 2 was, if you have finished that. Okay. Got it. Fennel says this was part 2 for speaking. Describe a well-known person in your country. Okay, so hot off the press from Fennel. Thank you, Fennel, for sharing that information. So task 1 was a diagram, water purifier. Task 2, university fees must be the same for all. And for part 2 speaking, it was describe a well-known person in your country. All right, Fennel, well, I'll keep my fingers crossed that you got a great score. And again, thank you for sharing your experience and some insights into the topics that were discussed. I appreciate that. I'm sure we're all hoping that you get a fantastic score. Do let me know. So send me an email and let me know what you got on your IELTS exam. Okay, students, let's get into IELTS speaking part 2, the cue card. So this comes after part 1, naturally. About 5 minutes into the speaking interview, the examiner will say that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these. You can take notes in this time if you wish. You have some paper there and your pen. and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. So step 1 is to read the question carefully. Carefully, don't rush, okay? You have to make sure to answer all the questions on the card. They're not just a guide, okay? I don't know who's saying that, but that's silly. So you must answer all of the questions on the cue card. It is not just a guide for your response, all right? I know that for a fact, okay? So it's not just a guide. They have some very specific questions on the card and they need you to answer those questions. So keep that in mind, okay? So let's read this carefully. Read it with me, okay? Don't just listen to me. The examiner will give you this topic sentence. They'll say, talk about where it is good to meet new people. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Just because they read it, don't skip that one. Make sure to read it. It's the most important sentence on the cue card. If you mess that one up, you go off topic and it's dangerous. You get a low mark, okay? In fact, they'll actually stop you faster because you're talking off topic. So you want to be able to speak for the full 2 minutes. That means you have to be on topic, giving new information from start to finish. So read it again. Talk about where it is good to meet new people. Where is it and what does it look like? Who goes there? What activities happen there? Why is it a good place to meet people? And how does this happen? Now, cue card sometimes doesn't include you, like talk about a place where it is good for you to meet new people. But generally speaking, the cue card is always still just a first person. So it's from your experience. Doesn't have to be real. You can make it up. But it's like part 1 where it's first person. It's kind of first person meets third person. So you can talk about the place where it's good to meet new people. And of course, it's probably a place that you have visited. It has to be a specific place, okay? So these are some important tips for you to keep in mind. Okay, so part 2 includes you. It is your experience. Okay, it must be specific. So you can't just don't just say like a coffee shop. You need to say something much more specific, okay? So you need to say something like a coffee shop called the Broken Mug, which is 2 blocks from my house, okay? Your response for high band scores in part 2 has to be specific, okay? So you can't just say random coffee shop. And I probably wouldn't go with Starbucks. It could be okay, Starbucks, but I would go with a unique coffee shop, okay? And try to stay away from foreign words. So if it has a foreign name, make up an English name like the dark bean or the roasted bean or whatever you come up with, okay? There's a lot of different good names you could come up with for a coffee shop, all right? So you need to be specific. It must be specific. Don't just say a coffee shop is a good place to meet new people. Say a coffee shop called the Broken Mug, which is 2 blocks from my house, is a great place to meet new people. In fact, I have met a couple of good friends there in the past, okay? So make it personal, make it specific. That's how you give details. That's how you get those high band scores. Is that clear, everybody? So you should never go general on a cue card. Even if the question kind of looks general and doesn't include the word you, Mix it in, okay? Part 2, they will not stop you for saying you. In fact, you'll do better because they'll be like, okay, they're talking about a nice specific place to meet new people in their neighborhood. Sometimes you'll see that the cue card will actually very specifically talk about a good place for you to meet new people. So they'll help you a bit to remind you that it needs to be specific. Okay, Rakuya, Fennel, Chen, Fuang, Chayani, nice, thumbs up. Good, I like to see that. I know that you're listening and I'm not just talking to myself. All right, good. So then, of course, pay attention to all of the questions on the card, as I mentioned. So where is it and what does it look like? I mean, that tells you that it's specific. It can't just be like, it's downtown, it's a coffee shop, it has tables and chairs. Okay. Who goes there? People. What activities happen there? People study, talk to each other, and drink coffee. All right. So too general, right? You need something more specific. Okay. All right. So why is it a good place to meet people, and how does this happen? So how do people meet other people? Okay. All right. Good. Now, let's discuss a little bit about what this card actually is. So this card is obviously a place. Okay, now I know that many of you are starting to realize, okay, cue cards are either about people, places, objects, events, or ideas, and you know now, those of you who are watching regularly, that there are some typical ways to clearly talk about a person, a place, an object. So when you talk about a place, everybody, what should you include? What has to be a part of the answer, and in what order? So what should you talk about first, okay, when you talk about a place? All right, let me know. Yeah, exactly, Chayani. The location. So where is it? And by location, you also include the name, of course. What is it, right? So location and the place. And the name of the place. Okay. Number 2. Chen says description. Yeah, appearance. So what does it look like, right? Okay. Fong, yeah, you might throw in a little bit about history, perhaps. Okay. I would put that third, Fong. Okay. Chayani says after that we should talk about the attendees. Who goes there? Okay. Number 5, talk about the activities. What do people do there? Sure. Okay. And then 6, talk about the experience. What's happened there? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I like it. Okay, good. So you're talking about a place. You could talk about the location, the appearance, the history, the attendees, activities, the experiences that happen there. All right. Nice. So you've got that, and then you think about the verb of the card as well in this step. So the verb tense to use the most. Now students, again, just a reminder, when you talk about location, appearance, history in this order, you're going to do a really good job. Plus, of course, pay attention to the card. Okay. Now the verb tense in this case is present tense, right? So it's general, present perfect, and maybe a bit of past tense. So when you met somebody at this place, right? So again, the cue card is talk about where it is good to meet people. It is good. You can see here it's present tense, right? And then where is it? Now, right? Who goes there? Now, right? So you can see it's a lot of present tense. Okay. And then step 3 is to think of a couple of good ideas. So, members, tell me some good ideas for places near you where it is good to meet people. Okay? Where are good places to meet people? And again, be specific. So if you think about the gym that's near your home, tell me the gym. Okay, so what's the name of the gym? Give it a name. And if you can't think of it, just make it up, right? So hopefully you can think of a couple of places where you can actually meet people near your home. So think about 2 or 3 good answers. And while you're thinking about this, just a tip for all of our viewers, be careful to think of only one idea, because sometimes it can be difficult to talk about or too easy to go off topic. Your first idea isn't necessarily your best idea. You have to keep that in mind, okay? So Raquia says Humayun tomb. Okay, interesting. Meeting people at a tomb, Raquia. But sure. So it's in the name of the tomb. So Humayun tomb. Sure. Okay, it sounds like it's a large tomb with that's a tourist attraction and maybe has a walking trail, so you can maybe meet some tourists or some locals in the area. Absolutely, Raquia. That could be a possibility. Okay. Think about a place where there's interactivity, where people talk to each other. So yes, Raquia, I was guessing that's a tourist attraction, and you can maybe meet some people from different parts of the world or from different parts of the country. Okay, sure. I bet your mind is racing a mile a minute, and think about social places in the city. There are often places in the downtown areas of cities that are kind of designed to meet people. Okay. Chayani says Jakarta Library. Yep, the library can be a good place to meet people. Yeah, very good, Chen. That was kind of like something that I was thinking of. Fong says, can I talk about a coffee shop similar to other candidates? Fong, you can. When you think about a coffee shop, right? So at first I was thinking about a coffee shop, and then I was thinking, well, are there any kind of interesting coffee shops where I can meet people? So a good trick, okay, is when you have an idea, take it one step further, okay? Take it one step further and think, are there any unique coffee shops that help people? This is what I thought of. So think like Adrian. So are there any unique coffee shops that help people to interact? And one popped into my mind right away. And I've seen that it's actually popular in a few European countries and in North America. I haven't been to Asia recently, but I have a feeling it's popular there too. And if it's not, it's a good business idea for some of you out there to interact with other people. So what do you think I'm thinking of? What type of unique coffee shop am I thinking of? Okay. And this would make it unique, Fuang. So this would make it a coffee shop that not everybody might talk about, but when you start talking about it, the examiner would go, wow, that's a really good idea. So they would just immediately realize that you thought about some very good content. Okay, think about what Chen wrote and put the two together, and you might come up with it. In fact, Chen, I think you might be thinking of something very similar already, just maybe from a different perspective. Okay, and identifying a great idea for part 2 is really smart. In fact, I say this to people, if it takes you half a minute, to think of a great idea, it's worth it. And you have less notes, but you have a really good idea, it's worth it. It's worth sacrificing half a minute. It is worth spending this time. Because it will make it easy for you to talk about it. And it will also help you with part 3. So what kind of unique coffee shop do you think I'm talking about or thinking about right now? I'll give you another 5 seconds to come up with it. Like I said, my big tip was think about what Chen mentioned in the chat there. Okay. So I would say in my city, I can't remember the exact name of the one that's in Victoria here, but I know there's at least one downtown. I think there might be more than one. So I'm just going to give it a name. It's Matrix. Oh no, it's actually called Interactivity. That's what it's called. I even remember the name of it. It's called Interactivity. I was just going to call it Matrix, but you could call it whatever, but it's called Interactivity Board Game Coffee Shop. Okay, so it's basically like a coffee shop combined with a game center where you can play board games, and you can go there with your friends, or you can even go there and people will invite you to a table to join them. Often they're missing an extra player. So they'll say, hey, are you here for a board game? We're going to play this game. Do you want to join us in the game? And wow, is it ever a great way to meet people. So for all of you who are going to travel to different cities for study or for immigration, if you want to go somewhere to practice your English and to meet new people, go to a board game coffee shop. Okay. All right. Chen's like, I was thinking of snooker. That's another, yeah, so that's another really good one, Chen. I was thinking about that as well. So one other thought I had, Chen, was a local pub with darts and billiards. Okay. And the local pub can be called whatever you want, Waddling Dog, for example. Well, you can call it whatever. I think there's one called Waddling Dog here in Victoria. So that would be another one. If you're, legal age and you can go to a pub, then yes, absolutely. Just a quick question. I don't see many of you responding. Fuang says I got it. Do you have these kinds of board game coffee shops in Vietnam or in China or India where people actually sit and drink their coffee or beverage, whatever they order, and sometimes I think you can order snacks as well in these places, and then they have shelves full of board games that you sit down and you play together. Okay. Raquea says yes, so you do have them in India, right? Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't have them, it's a great business idea. People love these places. They make a ton of money. And then they also not only sell the coffee and beverages, but they also sell the board games that you're playing, right? So Raquea says in Delhi, there's a place called Checkmate. Yeah, that's a great name for a place like that. Ruckway says Checkmate Board Game Cafe. There you go, Ruckway. What a great place to meet new people, right? So let's go with that. Let's do a board game cafe, okay? All right. And we've got so much content, because if you think about this step here, so location, appearance, history, then there's just so much that we can do with this, right? And this is why when you have a good idea, the part 2 answer becomes much easier, because even if you don't have notes but you remember this, right? Okay, let me show you what I mean by this. So even if you don't have notes, just by remembering that you need to talk about these elements, you can do a good job, especially if you're paying attention to the cue card, okay? You'll have easily enough information to come up with a great answer, okay? No, Chayani, absolutely not. Chayani's asking, if I choose a place where you have to be legal age, does it affect my score? No, not at all. So if you talk about a local pub where it's good to meet new people, no, there's no reason it would affect. Chayani, and this is, I know for a lot of people, politics and things are a bit scary in your country because they're taboo topics, but no, in the IELTS, they don't judge you for choosing a pub to talk about. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? All right, so location, downtown, about, let's say, 2K from home, okay? Appearance, large cafe, dozen square and round tables with 4 to 8 chairs, right? Because it's a board game cafe. Shelves with lots of games. These are quite new, so maybe last 5 years. Okay, probably very popular. People that like to play games. Mostly, I would say 16 to 40 age group, right? Men and women. Activities. So obviously playing games. So notice how quick the notes are because we know what we're talking about. And, you know, if you want to add to my notes, members, by all means you can. These ones I'm writing nice and fast because I have a feeling that you're going to think about these just like me. So I'm not going to wait for you to say playing games. I'm sure you're going to say playing games, which is good. Now, a really good tip or a really good trick for part 2 is don't really write down the obvious. So don't really write down, you know, playing games because you're talking about a board game cafe. So playing board games is a given. Instead of playing games, the obviously, right? Your notes should always focus on details. Okay? So ideas that you don't naturally think about. All right? So here's a good question for you. What games? So, okay, playing board games. Obviously, it's a board game cafe. So you're playing board games. And you're having drinks, right? Obviously. So what kind of board games? Very good, Chayani. So Jenga, chess. I know they have Jenga, but I'm always laughing at that one because I just see the Jenga pieces falling into somebody's coffee. Okay, so playing games. Yeah, so chess, Jenga, everybody knows that one. Ludo, Monopoly, Clue, Dungeons and Dragons. It's a big one. Right? Uno. Sure. Okay. Chen, I don't think these coffee shops usually have pool, but maybe in big cities. Some of them might. I'm not sure. Okay, now don't go overboard, so don't spend half a minute listing games, okay? Instead, make an example of one. Like I just played Jenga with a group of friends and I met a new person and it was fantastic, okay? Always remember the topic, okay? So a coffee. Instead of coffee, right, obviously, talk about A specific type of coffee, maybe your favorite coffee that you have at this place that just tastes awesome, right? Hi, Domenico. Maybe you love their chai latte. Okay. So write that into your notes. Okay. Does everybody understand what I mean by don't write obvious notes? So if you're talking about a board game cafe, don't write down playing board games. Write down Uno, Jenga, Monopoly. So that will help you increase the details, increase your vocabulary, and you're getting a higher band score. Okay, Requia says yes. Okay, so don't write down obvious notes. All right, there's no point. There's no reason to do that. Okay. Experience, I would say you probably relax, you meet new people, right? Again, think of something specific. You met Mike, a great guy. Okay, you have some laughs, right? And just a lot of fun, obviously. Okay, now pay attention to the cue card. Okay, so if we go back to the cue card, where is it? What does it look like? Location and appearance. So check, right? We can check that off. We're going to talk about that. Where is the place? Okay, it's a board game cafe. Who goes there? People who love games, and girls, guys, 16 to 35, 40 mostly. Okay, what activities? Talking, games, and coffee. Okay, why is it a good place to meet people, and how does this happen? Okay, so we want to talk about that. Okay, so people play together and join tables. That need players. Okay. So now I've covered every question on the card, and I have great structure. And I know what some of you are thinking, well, that's going to take me way more than 1 minute to do. No, it's not, okay? So when you practice this and you know what you're doing, you can easily do this in 1 minute, okay? So when you understand this strategy, practice it, you can do this in 1 minute. So you can think of the idea of a board game cafe. You can think about its location, its appearance. You can think about the people that go there, the activities that happen, the experience that you have, and you can think about all of the questions on the cue card. Remember, you can do some of that in the 1 to 2 minutes while you're speaking as well, as long as you have that good idea, okay? All right, Domenico, welcome aboard. Good time to join. So last step, right? Step 5, what is it? Step 5, very important step, okay, is have your first sentence ready. Yes, that's right, Raquea. Before your 1 minute preparation time is up, so that you can start specifically and fluently, okay? Do not start by saying there are lots of places to meet new people. But the one I'm going to talk about today is, okay? So don't do that. Don't start with this kind of very general approach, all right? So start specifically. So in my case, I would start by saying a great place to meet new people in Victoria is a board game cafe called Interactivity, located downtown on Yates Street. I actually do know the street where it is. On Yates Street, about 2 kilometers from my home. Okay? So that's the way I would start it. Okay, and I would be looking at my card. I would be making eye contact with the examiner. All right, and this would be my first sentence. So when the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up, please begin speaking, I would say a great place to meet new people in Victoria is a board game cafe called Interactivity, located downtown on Yates Street, about 2 kilometers from my home. Okay, good. And then I keep going. So members, you're doing a lot of great listening and paying attention. I want you to also produce some content. So whatever you have in mind, write it down. I want to see some sentences from you. Okay, so think about the appearance of this place, maybe the history, as I think it was Fong who recommended it. And give me some sentences. I'm going to write down some sentences. I want you to do the same. And then we'll go through this. We'll set this up as the example. And afterwards, you will have a chance to practice your response. So if you have an idea to answer this part 2 cue card with something similar or something different, you can take notes for that as well, okay? Rakwea says, a great place to meet new people in Delhi is Checkmate Cafe. It is about 3 kilometers from my home in the city center. Very nice, Rakwea. Yeah, so if you have an interactivity or if you have a board game cafe in your city, try to talk about that, okay? So, very good. All right, so I'm just moving along. I'm giving you a little bit of chance to think about what you're going to write. I'm just describing it right now, okay? All right. So just blasting along, it's very easy to be fluent and to give answers when you have a good idea. Okay. So, all right, Domenico. Yes, this session is recorded, so you can watch it later when your Wi-Fi comes back. I hear you. There's a lot of storms going on for sure. Okay. So this is what I wrote, and everybody who's watching and all of the members, you can repeat after me, okay? So, okay, your 1 minute time is up. Please begin speaking. A great place to meet new people in Victoria is a board game cafe called Interactivity, located downtown on Yates Street, about 2 kilometers from my home. It is a large cafe at street level entrance with about a dozen large tables, either round or square, that have anywhere from 4 to 8 chairs. Also, there are shelves along the walls with hundreds of board games that patrons can play and even buy. The storefront has large windows, so it is bright, and this makes playing games for a long time easy on the eyes and enjoyable to play. Of course, there is a barista and a counter to purchase coffee. I always buy the chai latte as it is the best in the city. This place is great to meet new people because many of the customers are playing board games like Jenga, Monopoly, and Clue, and they need extra players to join. In fact, I met one of my best friends, Mike, at Interactivity a couple of years ago when I was asked to play a round of Dungeons and Dragons. Sure. So if anyone is new to Victoria and would like to meet a person who loves games, a good chat, and a hot cup of coffee, I would definitely recommend Interactivity Board Game Cafe. Okay. So that's how you do it. And notice how I have this concluding sentence. I'm going to show you a couple of neat tips from this response that helps you to get a high score, okay? Meanwhile, I'm just seeing Fatma joined us. Hi, Fatma. Okay, wow, Fatma, that's fantastic. So Fatma, good time to join and encourage everybody. Lovely, good to see you. So Fatma says this. Fatma just jumped in to the class to share some good news while you're thinking about this part 2. So Fatma says, thank you for your help, sir. I had the exam 2 weeks ago and I got a 7.5 overall. That is awesome, Fatma. That means that your English is between good and very good. And that's a great place to be. And that's not as a non-native speaker. That's compared to English proficiency, even native speakers. So that's really good. Fatma, can you please send me an email? I would love to get your testimonial. Just send it to my email, please, when you have a minute. Okay? You can even just copy paste what you wrote in the chat. It's really simple. So send it to me here, okay? Adrian@aehelp.com. Okay, can you please do that, Fatma? I'd appreciate it, okay? All right, Joao, good time to join. So let's take a look at this cue card and the answer again. Okay, so the cue card is talk about where it is good to meet new people. Where is it? What does it look like? Who goes there? What activities happen there? Why is it a good place to meet people, and how does this happen? Okay, so here's my answer. I might add a little bit more about the people, especially if I have more time. So my 1 minute preparation time is up and I begin speaking. A great place to meet new people in Victoria is a board game cafe called Interactivity, located downtown on Yates Street, about 2 kilometers from my home. It is a large cafe at street level entrance with about a dozen large tables in either round or square that have anywhere from 4 to 8 chairs. Also, there are shelves along the walls with hundreds of board games that patrons can play or even buy. The storefront has large windows, so it is bright, and this makes playing games for a long time easy on the eyes and enjoyable to play. Of course, there's a barista and a counter to purchase coffee. Usually men and women, ages 16 to 45 frequent this establishment. I always buy the chai latte. It is the best in the city. This place is great to meet new people because many of the customers are playing board games like Jenga, Monopoly, or Clue, and they need extra players to join. In fact, I met one of my best friends, Mike, at Interactivity a couple of years ago when I was asked to play a round of Dungeons and Dragons. So if anyone is new to Victoria and would like to meet a person who loves games, a good chat, and a cup of hot coffee, I would definitely recommend Interactivity Board Game Cafe. And in this case, it's actually true, except the part about meeting my friend Mike. I don't actually go to this place, but I know people that do, and it does exist. So check it out. All right. All right, Fatma, I see your thumbs up, so that's awesome. Thank you. I'm looking forward to your testimonial. That's lovely. All right, everybody. So that is Band 9 answer for part 2. Okay, it's got a lot of good connectives. Notice how here I'm using a bit of what's called correlative conjunctions, right? So it's right here, either or. Examiners love those either or, whether a person wants a warm cup of coffee or a hot cup of coffee, or to play a board game. Interactivity Cafe is fantastic, right? So whether or, either or, these are great kind of connectives to use. They're called correlatives. Tantien, thank you for joining. Thank you for your super chat donation. I hope that you volunteer in the practice coming up, because that's what we're doing right now. We're going to practice speaking for real. So go to aehelp.com. If you don't have an account, create one. If you don't want to pay, that's okay. You can create a free account, although we use our websites and the materials all the time. So if you're going to watch a lot of these live classes, it's probably a good idea to pay a little bit of money and join the premium account. And then open up the student partner speaking. I'm going to show you instead of just tell you. So this is aehelp.com. This is the website. You can get an account, the paid one, by clicking the red button. And if you want to use the free version, which is okay too, you can click the green button. Okay. And once you do that, you will have a My Student account. Once you're in the My Student account, you'll see lots of features. You want this feature right here. The student partner speaking, that's just right above my head up there. Okay. You click on that and you click the pop-up to say accept. It means that you will speak nicely, and don't give phone numbers to people. Please don't share private information. It's not a good idea. And then you will see the other students who are all volunteering in here. You will also see our premium students, and then you will see students like Raquea, who are not only members but also premium students. You will see me as master. Okay. And you can send me a message by clicking the blue envelope and saying, I want to volunteer. We're going to use this in our next class as well for speaking part 3. So so Raquea, you're a member, you're a premium user, and you have a board game cafe in your city, so it definitely makes sense to give you a shot at this right away. Raquea, are you there? Let me just refresh this. For some reason, let's see. Okay, just give me a second here. I might have to do a quick reboot on this server to make sure that we're linking up, and then it should work. All right, just give me 2 seconds. It's a rare issue. All right, here we go. You might see this on your end too, so just give me a moment. I should be able to fix it for us. No problem. Okay. There we go. Okay, join up again, everybody. I just rebooted that chat server. I think maybe there were too many people joining in all at once, which is a good problem to have. So hop in there. All right. Rakwea, are you ready? Are you ready? We're doing a major upgrade on the websites and the apps as well, so you might see a little bit of funny business in the next 48 hours, everybody. Our developers are working really hard, just a heads up for everyone. We'll send a notification out for that as well. Okay, cool. Raquel, let me ring you.
Hello.
Hi, Raquea. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I am doing good, thank you. I can see you're studying hard. You're a member now for a while and you have the premium course. Are you doing lots of study every day?
Yes, I'm doing, and I want to give my IELTS this month. That's why.
I got you. Well, you're definitely on the right track, Raquea. And you have a board game cafe in your city, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So let's do this then. I will show you the cue card and I will start you off. Give me a nice answer and I'll give you some feedback. How does that sound?
Okay.
All right. Okay, so you should see the card on the screen in a second or two. Here we go. So that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read the questions, think about your answers, and then 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about where it is good to meet new people. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
A great place to meet new people in New Delhi is Checkmate Cafe, which is 3 kilometers away from my house, and it is a good place to meet new people, just like for playing games with and expending time. It's a very large cafe about street level entrance with hundreds of board games, just like chess, ludo, uh, jenga, and carom also. So if anyone is boring at home and he is very lonely, he can go and play games, and he will also definitely find a new member to play with him. And most of time I go there and for playing games, because I love to play board games just like carom. Last week I go there and I find my friend to play with him. I mostly also order coffee, just cappuccino coffee, which is the cafe's most favorite coffee, and I also like it. So if anyone can, if anyone would like to go there, it is the best place to go.
Okay, just a second. Your time is up. I will stop you there and I will give you some feedback.
Okay.
All right, so you were very fluent. So your fluency would be like a band 8. That was really good. I could not keep up with you. My typing, not even close. But I heard everything you said, which is fantastic. And you had some really good strategy as well. And then a few places where you need to make some corrections to improve your band score. So I would say that you would get a band 6 to a 6.5 for that, Raquel. In order to get a higher band score, you need to be careful with your grammar, with your coherence, and with your word choice a bit more. Let me show you what I mean specifically, okay? So first of all, your start was perfect. Your first sentence was perfect. What I mean by that is you started immediately. So I said, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. And you started right away. So you didn't say or you didn't waste even a second. Okay, that's the perfect start. So it's like, you know, in a running race, bang, and you're running, right? So you're like, a great place to meet new people in New Delhi is Checkmate Cafe, which is about 3 kilometers from my home, right? It was a perfect start. Fast, accurate, great. And then you kind of got stuck. So when you're at home and you're practicing, try to really focus on the second and third sentence also, so that it's nice and smooth and clear. You said it is a great place to meet people, to play games, but it took a while. And then you said it has games like chess or Ludo. Okay.
Yes.
So that was good detail. And you said, if anyone is going home and is very lonely, it is just a great place to meet people and you can join. Careful not to switch suddenly to the you can join. So don't talk about your examiner. Maybe you're not in New Delhi. Maybe your examiner doesn't live in New Delhi. So don't switch to the you. Stay with people or patrons or visitors or newcomers to the city. So don't suddenly jump to that you, okay? And then you said, last week I go there. So that's where your grammar was a bit off. You have to be really careful not to make tense mistakes with simple grammar, especially grammar like go. So you need to say went. Last week I went there, not go there. Does that make sense, Raquel?
Yes.
And then you said, and I find my friend there. It's not find my friend. What is it? It's I
found.
Exactly. Found my friend there, right? So it's an irregular past tense. So be really careful with your verb tense. That will definitely pull your mark down, especially if you're making mistake after mistake after mistake in the same sentence or 2 sentences. It'll drop your score by a band score for that section for sure, okay?
Yes.
And then you said, coffee, which is the cafe's favorite. That's a bit confusing. I get what you're saying. You're saying that the coffee or this cafe makes a very good cup of coffee, which is many people's favorite, but you didn't say it clearly. It's like you're telling me that the cafe has a favorite coffee. It's kind of strange. So you need to say that correctly. Like many people love the coffee that they have at this cafe. It is good quality and very tasty. Okay, can you just say that? So many people love the coffee they serve at this cafe. It's good quality and very tasty.
Okay. Many people love the coffee. It is very tasty and
Good quality.
good quality.
Okay, so what you want to do is start very nice and fast like you did. Focus on the second and third idea or sentence that's coming. And then once your brain really starts moving, Raquel, slow down a bit and focus on making sure that you have good grammar, good verb tense, and that you have clear information. And your band score will go up, okay? So keep practicing that accuracy, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So
Do you have a question?
yes. I want to improve my vocabulary. How can I do that? And
Okay.
reading is also.
Okay. When is your IELTS exam?
My IELTS is not uh, decided, but I want to give it by 20 December.
Okay, so that means that you have about 4 weeks for your IELTS exam. Don't worry about
Yeah.
vocabulary. Okay, don't try to learn
Okay.
lots more new vocabulary. Learn it naturally,
Yes.
just from practicing speaking, doing practice exams, writing, reading. Learn it naturally, but don't actually
Yes.
sit down and try to learn 10 new words each day or new idioms
Okay.
each day. It's at this point, you don't have enough time. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Vocabulary, I mean, if you had 3 months or 4 months before your IELTS exam, I would say yes, start, creating a vocabulary bank. But
Yeah.
when you're 2, 3, 4 weeks from your IELTS exam, it's just
Yes.
much more important to focus on communication skills, having good strategy, and doing practice
Mhm.
exams. So focus on strategy, communication, and using what you know even better. So use the vocabulary that you have. The vocabulary that
Yes.
you have, Raquea, it's good enough to get a band
Yes.
6, 5, 7, maybe even a
Yes. Okay.
7.5. Just focus on fluency, good grammar, good
Mhm.
coherence, okay, in these weeks.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for the question, Raquia. It was a good question. And I'll see you in the next class too, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye.
By Raquea. Give Raquea a thumbs up. That was really good. Yeah, that was a really good question by Raquea. No point in trying to increase vocabulary a few weeks from your exam. It probably won't make a difference, okay? Whatever vocabulary you learn naturally from practicing, reading, speaking, writing, listening, that's fine, okay? Focus on strategy, okay? All right. Let's see if we have any of our other members in here right now. So I had to just reboot the chat server there, everybody. So Fuang or Joao, I don't know if you're in here. I don't see you. Ahmed, Alfred. So anybody who is a member, let me know if you're in here. If not, it's great to see many of our premium users in here. So I'm sure you guys can see this. Maybe on my screen it's a bit small. Actually, here let me zoom in and then you'll see it better. Okay, so you can see here. Yeah, now you can see it. So you see these tags, the premium student that's there by Raj. So that means those students have access to our premium course, which is awesome. And I can see that there are quite a few of you in here. So I see you're in here and you're volunteering as well. So let's see what you's doing because I didn't see other members. Are you ready? Okay. Kotim, you're saying you're here. Are you in the chat as well? Let me know. Okay, let's give you a shot. Hello, you. It sounds like you picked up, but I don't hear you. Kotim, where are you in the chat? I don't see you. Are you using a different name? Chayani. Oh, Chayani, I see you there now. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure where you're calling from. If you're routing through China, you're going to need to use a VPN. China blocks these kinds of chat systems. So if you are in China, I'm not sure if you're in China, but if you are in China, you need to use a VPN through a Western country. Specifically, Canada would be great. Okay. Okay. All right. Chayani, let's give you a shot here. Okay. Are you ready? Okay, and Kotim, I see now that your account is Jacko. All right. Yeah, I can't make that connection until you tell me. And I don't see you volunteering too. So Kotim, make sure that you next time also send me a message. Okay. Hi, Chayani.
Hello, Sir Adrian. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing fine, even though a bit tired today.
You're a bit tired. Is it a long week?
Yeah.
Lots of
Yes.
work. I feel you. All
Yeah.
right. Chayani, let's do this. Are you ready?
Yes, I was ready.
Okay. Always just dig deep. There's this expression in English called dig deep. Have you ever heard this?
Never.
Dig deep
But
means
I
try to really reach inside to get all the energy you have. So reach inside to collect all of your energy and use it. Okay. So that's what that expression means. You got to dig deep. And if anybody's ever in the IELTS and you're feeling a bit tired, dig deep. Okay, Chayani?
okay, sir.
All right. Okay, so Chayani, here we go. I'm going to start you off. Talk about where it is good to meet new people. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
A best place to meet new person in Jakarta is called Abnormal. That is Noodle Cafe that located in the heart city of Jakarta, about an hour from my home and 2 kilometers. There are provided of 40 tables and with the chair, and also it's a huge size of the cafe. Also, there are provided hundreds of games, just like Monopoly, Jenga, chess, even karaoke tools. Furthermore, there is a lounge that provided for the customer who want to enjoy their leisure time without any disturb or noise. There's a barista and a cashier who want to purchase all of their order. I was ordered the kind of the noodle called ramen, and this is the one of the best plate. And this cafe is great to meet new individuals because mostly they like to play Jenga or even karaoke to enjoy their leisure time after having enjoy their leisure time, just like having a kickback after heavy time. So I met the new friends from my university. It's about 5 months ago. So if someone want to travel to Jakarta and want to pacify their mind, they need to um, attend this cafe for um, spending lots of time by enjoying the food, drink, and lots of games. So
Okay, your time is
that's
up. I
make
will
out
stop
of
you
the
there.
blue.
I will stop you there and we will continue with part 3. Please put your note paper and pen to the side. Okay. All right, Chayani. So that would be about a band 6. All right. One quick tip right away, Chayani, is target the card a little bit faster. So you spent a lot of time describing the place and it took you quite a while to eventually explain why it's a good place to meet new people. So you want to talk about meeting new people about 20 seconds, 30 seconds after you start your response. So you started okay. You said a best place. Now be really careful with grammar, especially with kind of simple concepts in grammar. So we don't say a best place. What do we say, Chani?
A perfect place.
Yeah, interestingly, we do say a perfect place, but when we say best, then what's the correct article?
The best place.
Yeah, it has to be the. Sounds very strange for a native speaker because it's one of, right? But best is the one and only. So it's always the best place, right? And a native ear will pick that out very quickly. They'll be like, huh? A best place? So it's the best place. To meet new person. You have a missing article. So a new person or new people. Okay. So you can't have multiple simple article mistakes within the first 10 words of your first sentence. It's going to work against your score. Okay. In Jakarta, and I missed the name, is a noodle cafe. Interesting. So it's games, noodles, or cafe and noodles. All right, it sounds like a great place. The heart of Jakarta. Does it exist?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it is a real place.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I already realized I forgot to notice the attendees.
Yeah. So about an hour from your home, and you said it's a huge place. It has lots of tables, and you said it has provided hundreds of games. Not it is provided, they provide, okay? Or it provides, or they provide. You can use they because when you say they with a restaurant, you're meaning like the people, the staff, the owners who all work there. They provide. Or you can refer to the place and say it provides. So also they provide hundreds of games like Monopoly, chess, and even, did you say karaoke, like karaoke, like singing?
Yes.
Okay.
I usually spell karaoke.
Yeah, so it comes from the Japanese word, right? And the Japanese will pronounce it karaoke. In English, we'll use both. We'll use the original pronunciation, karaoke, or we'll say karaoke. If we really Americanize it, then we'll say karaoke. Okay, so karaoke, karaoke, both are okay, but I couldn't clearly hear it. Now, the other issue with introducing karaoke, it's a good idea, but if you're going to introduce it, you have to speak about it clearly because it's not really a game. Karaoke is singing, right? So you sing with somebody or with a group of friends. So you have to explain that in a bit of a different way. You have to say like people who go to this place can play games like Monopoly or chess, or they can sing with their friends and do karaoke. Do you get it? Okay.
I get it.
Try this, try this, Chayani. So people who go to this place can play games with each other like chess or Monopoly, and they can even sing karaoke with each other.
They are provided 100 games like Monopoly, chess, and even they can sing with karaoke with each other.
Much better. Okay, I was a bit confused there because at one point I was like, is Chani talking about some game that's got a similar kind of name as the singing game, or what is it, right? So I had a bit of confusion there, and that's what you want to avoid with the examiners, confusing them, right? I thought you meant karaoke, but because you didn't use the verb singing, it was a bit confusing for sure. And because the pronunciation was a little bit off, it was especially confusing. So be really careful with that. Really clearly explain your ideas, okay? All right, but it sounds like a fun place for sure. And it sounds like after you have some rest, Chayani, because you said you're burned out from the week and you're feeling tired, maybe after you have some rest, tomorrow might be a good day to go down to this noodle cafe and treat yourself a little bit and sing with your friends, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So pay attention to using clear, accurate language, right? Okay, and get to the point faster. So tell the examiner why it's a good place to meet people a little bit faster. Otherwise, they might stop you and not give you a full mark because they'll be like, oh, she wasn't able to answer that. Okay, so careful with that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right, Chani. Well, I wish you good rest and I wish you a great rest of the weekend. Thank you so much for volunteering. Bye for now.
Sir, I
Yeah?
have a question.
Go for it.
Do I need to learn the basic grammar before I take the test?
Very good question. I love that question. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. You have to be, so using day-to-day grammar like simple present, present continuous correctly, using articles and the and un correctly, using plurals, like knowing when to put an S at the end of the word and when to not, is very important to get at least a 6.5 or a 7. If you're making mistakes with basic grammar, it's very hard to get over a 6. Okay?
And additional question. So the examiner would like to give the band score if I have the false pronunciation, like karaoke.
Well, only if it's confusing. So even if you have an accent or if the pronunciation is a little bit different than how it's pronounced in English-speaking countries, like most English speakers will pronounce it karaoke, but there are a lot who understand the karaoke, which is the Japanese, the original pronunciation. The only time that you really lose marks for pronunciation is when you're doing some other or making another mistake that adds and makes it even more confusing. So I would have understood what you meant if you would have told me it's singing. Then I would have been like, okay, she means karaoke. But because that was missing also, that's when it became really confusing. Okay? So yes, pronunciation is important, especially if the context becomes confusing. Okay?
Okay, sir. I in the answer in earlier, I answered with idioms like kickback and out of the blue. Is that okay?
As long as you're using them perfectly. If you're not using them perfectly, the idioms, then they become very confusing as well. And you need to stay away from confusing language. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. Bye, Chani. Have a good rest.
Okay. Thanks a
Bye-bye.
bunch, sir. Have
You're
a
very
great day.
Thank you. All right, that was Chani. Dan Ewan has a good laugh about the noodle cafe. Why not, right? Somebody's not feeling like coffee. They're feeling more like noodles. I think it's a great idea. And by the way, ramen, one of my favorites. So certain types of dishes are known around the world. You don't need to say, and Chani, this is just a little after message, you don't need to say a noodle called ramen. I think everybody knows ramen. Ramen has become a global food. So like you don't need to say a noodle called spaghetti. Everybody knows spaghetti. So you can just say ramen. My favorite food there is ramen. Okay? All right. Jacko, if you've been patiently waiting, here is your chance. Are you ready? You'll see a little pop-up from me. Jacko is both a member and a premium student. You can see people with the premium student right there, which is fantastic. Let's see if Jacko is still with us. Jacko says ready. All right, Jacko, remember to message me next time in the chat and it'll be easier to pinpoint you. Okay, here we go. Jacko, I don't hear you. Check your setup. Yes, I see that. Saying I have a problem. Yeah, so students, for chat interface, I'm in Canada, right, in the West. You have to make sure you have a good internet connection. You have to make sure that you're not being blocked by firewall or some kind of system and that your country might be using to block information exchange. So use a VPN. Jacko says the connection is good. It's got to be something, Jacko. So what I recommend is test it with another student. So test it with other users. If you're having trouble, test a VPN. A lot of students fix it by using a VPN. Okay, and you're saying you're having trouble with another student as well. It's probably your server is routing somewhere where it's being blocked. So if you're ever having trouble, use a good VPN service. Okay, I use one called Private VPN, but in different countries, it's different ones that work well. So try a VPN service that usually solves the problem for many, many people. All right. Okay, Liu is here. Let's see if we can connect with Liu. So, Jacko, again, when you figured that out, come back, okay? So, Liu, are you ready? Let's give Liu a shot. Great to see so many premium students in here. That's fantastic. Okay. And again, students, hang in there. You never know when your turn might come because it can depend on a lot of factors, right? Who's able to connect, who's not able to connect, who I can hear, who I can't hear, who is a premium user, who is not. We'll take random students. We'll take a lot of random students next class as well, by the way, lots of students. So Liu, I don't see you there. So let's try Peter. Peter, are you ready? Or did Peter even volunteer? Peter didn't even really volunteer, so I'm not sure if... well, anyway, I'm just throwing it out there for you, Peter. I should see you volunteer, by the way. So if I see like an orange number like beside Alfred, then I see that you're volunteering. Okay, I'm not sure if Peter's here, but Peter, if you are, maybe volunteer next class. Students, I'm just noticing that I'm starting to run out of time, but don't worry because next class we're going to have lots of volunteers and lots of time for speaking as it is the final class of the day and of the week. So until then, check out aehelp.com, glshelp.com, sign up for an account, test the speaking chat function, make sure it works for you, and then I'll be back in 30 minutes with part 3 questions that will continue from this part 2, okay? So I look forward to seeing all of you members there and volunteering. Jacko, 30 minutes might be enough time for you to get a good VPN service and then come back, okay? And again, use a US or a Canadian server for the VPN. Good job, everybody. Good job, members. Keep up the practice. Focus on grammar and on coherence. Absolutely. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, but I will be back in half an hour with part 3. Bye for now.